Welcome to Greg Tech New Horizons Steam Age. Last time we progressed through the Stone Age, and today we're gonna start with munching on some dough. We will need a lot of materials in the Steam Age, therefore I want to upgrade my pickaxe to be as lucky as possible, which means more lapis mining. With the lapis smelted, I reach maximum fortune on my pickaxe, and with that I move on to other things. I see that 3 Stone Age loot bags can be upgraded for a Steam Age one, which I'm curious about, so I craft a door for a quest I never did, as well as a scythe. Another quest is for the crossbreeding that went so well last time, so I create 16 tall poles and receive a gold block as a reward, which is very nice. With the new sticks, I thought I might as well try to do it correctly this time and actually follow the manual for actual crossbreeding. So 3 combined loot bags result into 1 better. But that gives me food I already have, and the table doesn't look that interesting, so I won't be doing more of this. The crossbreeding results in a lot of weeds, and I mean a lot. You have to babysit this, and I don't have the time to do that, so we will return to this for later. But for now we need redstone. No, that's not right. Let's try again. Redstone. After gathering an inventory's worth, I return to the surface. Redstone is a bit different from the other ores. Instead of smelting it or directly receiving the dust like in vanilla, we smash it up and we wash it. And with that, I upgrade my tools to mine even faster. I also realized that I could use the crafting station to apply modifiers, which save time, and also meant I didn't need to click my pickaxe 125 times. Next up is pig iron. I got 2 ingots from the mob spawner chest and realized that it gives a 1.3 times multiplier to durability instead of 1.25 that bronze gives. This enormous difference results in around 1 more whole block being able to be broken before the durability runs out, as well as getting some free food. And we need a lot of food. It's also time to make a weapon. You have a couple of choices in the early game, and I decided at first that the longsword leap mechanic was a killer, and my dog agreed. He is though scared of the vacuum cleaner, so his opinion might be questionable. The crossbreeding when not babysitting results in weeds that overtake the crops, as I said before, and with absolutely no gain whatsoever, I decided to try my luck with crossbreeding some cotton instead. My wood armor and flippers is starting to feel a bit outdated, and I do have the ability now to create better armor and have for a while, so I make some iron. I remember feeling quite badass 10 years ago using my golden frying pan to slaughter my enemies in Team Fortress 2. I also remember that frying pans in Tinkers have special abilities, and therefore changed my cringy longsword for a shad pan. It doesn't however autocook slain enemies like I thought it would, and it should do in this version. Neither does it deal as much damage as a sword or is gold, but it will make me feel like a top chef in the zombie apocalypse. I removed the cactus farm for now, to put machines instead, as I thought it would make sense to be directly below the coke oven. After some rigorous crafting, I also completed my first machine line. We now have a steam alloy smelter that we can use to make bronze, as well as red alloy ingots which we need for our quest. I ran out of copper however, so I'm grabbing some more. Back on the surface, we can now create the red alloy. Our steam boiler doesn't output enough power to the machine, so I have to do 1 ingot at a time, wrenching the pipe and slowing down the process immensely. Getting sidetracked by food quests, I finish some bread making to receive some sweet rewards. Another sidetrack later, and I stuff some endermen into the foundry to receive pearls that I have a quest for. I don't get enough just yet, however, so I continue with the Steam Age quest and complete one for a hopper. This gives me a nice cake that I bury in the dirt for some reason. The next quest requires tin, which I have run out of, so time for some more mining. After mining enough asbestos to get Walter White's diagnosis, I head to the surface to gather some more wood. Smelting up the tin, I now could complete an item pipe quest that I have no use for yet. I then remember that diamonds in this pack is a great fuel, as 1 diamond can melt 8 stacks, so I go to gather some. Kill a few mobs and then put down some more endermen, melting them for more pearls and for another quest. Our next quest requires a wire cutter, some crafting later and we have it. Next up is pistons, followed by a steam compressor. This can be used to create blocks of iron, for example, which will be used, but not now. I need steel, which requires a new multi-block structure. First off, clay, over 15 stacks in fact. 4 furnaces and 28 iron plates later, we have 4 blast furnaces. Stone dust clean and this tiny setback that destroys 10 stacks of logs, almost all my hard-earned coins, all my sand, gravel and all the clay I just collected. I have no idea where the creeper may have come from, as no other mob has walked into here before, but now I'll surely be paranoid every time I'm in here. Well, back to work I guess. With the paranoia being a little bit too much to bear after I hear an explosion in the distance, I decide to put up a temporary wall all around the base, making it look like a suburban renovation project, ugly but necessary. With ingredients gathered again, I can create fire bricks, which requires a combination of clay dust and brick dust, which I simultaneously need to collect, put into the steam machine, then melt. Instead of waiting for each step, that takes a lot of time, I run to each station again and again to speed up the process. I would have loved to automate this, but I don't have a macerator, so I can't. Maybe I should have crafted one first, but anyway. With 2 hours of crafting and smelting, I finally can create a brick oven. And combining coal, coke and iron is creating steel. Whilst waiting for more steel to cook up, I finish up the storage area from the accident before and make it possible for further expansion. For now, the bigger room will be filled out with barrels of materials that we have a lot of, whilst this room will be for less. Looking around for some zinc for our next quest, I come to the realization that all that terracotta on the mountains right next to our base could have been used to create clay dust all along. With other words, I have wasted at least an hour mining up clay when I could have just looked up. With enough steel to make the quest, we can now create obsidianite with obsidian and zinc. This allows us to create a fresh new pickaxe head as well as a tool forge. The tool forge allows us to make more powerful tools. After being schizophrenic while collecting more obsidian for more obsidianite, we can finally create a hammer, as well as a lumber axe. The lumber axe is quite a time-saving tool, especially if you have a reinforced oak tree. And the hammer is as well, when we need to collect materials or expand. It will be way quicker. The steel making is taking quite a lot of time, so after making an extractor, we can now gather some brick dust from the bricks I received in the quest reward for another brick blast furnace. That's a tongue twister. But whilst waiting for more bricks to finish cooking, I complete another quest for a flint and steel, meaning we can now head into the nether. The nether is quite a dangerous place in New Horizons, filled to the brim with evil, but also materials that we need to progress. After a lot of mining, I find a sulfur vein, which is used for our next quest. To my surprise, my pickaxe upgrades a mining level, which allows us to use the ardite, which is one of the best metals in the early game, which we are still considered to be in. When I step out of the portal back to home sweet home, I find it to be a blood moon, which is not sweet at all, in fact it's quite frightening. With the blood moon behind us, I do some cleanup. I upgrade my hammer and start work on one of the reasons we needed so much steel. Molds, which requires casings. Casings that when used on our foundry produces the molds needed for the quest. Now we are getting somewhere. After expanding the base a little to fit in the rubber trees we found in the last episode, growing them with some bone meal to gather sticky gooey resin, we can use the extractor to get rubber dust. Together with some sulfur dust, we can make rubber bars. I am still lacking in the steam department, so some solar panels do wonders at keeping up the pace. Because if we combine the rubber bars we've gotten with some wires, we get cables. Now we are talking electricity. Since some cables and glass can be made into vacuum tubes, a circuit, ingots and a lot of crafting later, we are now officially in low voltage, matching my energy levels after this last weekend. I have had a lot of fun in New Horizons so far. I kinda had to rush through this, however, because of the midsummer celebrations here in Sweden, which means I didn't get all the stuff done that I wanted to. That means I have stuff to look forward to. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a subscription if you want to see more of this, and also so I can get monetized. Goodbye.